Before we begin, the information provided is for general educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. It does not replace consultant with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have a medical concern, diagnosis, or treatment question, you should consult your physician or another licensed healthcare provider.
Hey, Stacey, what's up?
Hi, how's it going?
It's awesome. Finally, Stacey, we're going to get to your story, man. So, did I meet you in one of those great survivor groups out there in the world of Facebook?
Yes, it was a support group. And, the algorithm is so crazy. It doesn't show you half the time what you want to see. And
Right.
I saw the post and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm in.
That's so cool. We're so glad to have you. And, we've talked to so many different triple negative breast cancer survivors over the last 13 years on this show. And each story is unique. And usually what we like to do is just kind of start from the beginning and what led to your diagnosis. So the first question that I have for you, were you getting screened already, or how did you run across this?
Yes. So I started getting mammograms when I was 39. I had felt something kind of weird, which turned out to just be a duct. And so I got a little bit of a jump start on mammograms. And 21, so 2021, it was time for my annual. And my husband and I had just been on the best vacation of our lives. We were living high on the hog. It was just such a great vacation. We were just feeling super blessed and happy. And so the universe was like, we'll fix that.
Oh,
And
no. No.
I remember sitting on the couch and I just kind of scratched my chest and I felt a lump. And then that turned into my journey. That was March 2nd of 2021. And I
How
started
old? How old were you at that time?
I was 46 then.
46. Yeah.
So, and a kind of crazy thing, I met with my surgeon who I absolutely love. And my husband said, we caught it early, right? And he said, oh no, she's had this 3 to 5 years.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yes. Mammograms had missed it.
Wow. You mentioned earlier that you had gotten checked out for another lump previously that was benign. Did you have fibrocystic breasts?
No. Every year I would do the mammogram and then I would get the cute pink letter saying everything's great. We'll see you in a year. And that I was at a health fair right before COVID shut down. And I talked to someone at our local mammogram place and I was going to set up an appointment and then COVID happened. And I had gotten the mammogram though. No, it was right before COVID happened. So I even had a mammogram in 2020. And so then 2021, when that came around, it was time for my annual. And sorry, I forgot that part of it. But
yeah,
then I thought I could just call and get a regular mammogram because it was time. I had a standing doctor order to get one annually. And she said, no, you have to have a doctor order a diagnostic mammogram.
Wow.
And so I went to a meeting that morning. I led the meeting. I acted like everything was fine. And immediately after the meeting, I called and went in and got the order for the diagnostic mammogram.
Wow.
And, that doctor and his nurse are actually some of my best friends today. I've been astounded at the closeness that you get with these people.
Your medical team, yeah.
Yes, I love them dearly. So,
well, it's fortunate that you had that experience. Not everybody does, so it's really important to have like a medical team that you trust and you can surround yourself with when you get a diagnosis like this. And Stacey, I'm just wondering, like, at what point did you hear the words triple negative breast cancer?
It actually wasn't until after my mastectomy.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes. So I got diagnosed, started treatment. I didn't even have all my test results. I was an absolute bulldog in getting everything ordered and done. And I did all my chemo regimen. I had my mastectomy. I actually had to have 2 different surgeries on that. They took the left, that was the affected side. And then later they all determined that they should take my right. The tissue sample came back and the poor nurse, Kaylee, called me. And I remember sitting on the couch and she said, well, good news. You had, complete response with chemo, except we did find a spot that we knew was there, but they thought it was like scar tissue or something just kind of hanging around, and it was triple negative.
So, are you saying that your original diagnosis was breast cancer and it wasn't triple negative? And
Correct. It was, I
so you
had, they told me I had invasive, so IDC, and then non-invasive. So
uh-huh.
that's originally what it was. And then when I had my mastectomy and they sent that tissue sample off, they said, "Oh, you actually have had triple negative as
So
well."
so okay, so you had a secondary breast cancer that was triple negative.
Yes.
And I wonder if cuz the pathology for the previous one was probably it had to be like an ER positive, PR positive, some other mix.
Yes.
I wonder what that was. So did they stage you at that point when they noticed the secondary breast cancer?
Yes. So the first, he told me I had 3 types of cancer. The first 2 they knew about, the triple negative they did not know. It's just not one that had gotten biopsied because I had such a large area and they didn't do all of it, and I had lymph node involvement too. And so the first 2 cancers were stage 3, and then the triple negative was stage 1. And he said
Wow.
the chemo did not eradicate it, but it did stop it from growing,
Right. Right.
which
Well, thank
I
God.
had read about triple negative. And I remember thinking during treatment and everything, like, well, at least it isn't triple negative.
Right, right.
I
And
was
then
like,
next
well,
thing you know, you turn around. Well, most people don't even hear about triple negative unless they're diagnosed with it. So it's kind of amazing that you had learned about it. So the stage 3 breast cancer that you had before the triple negative diagnosis, that was in your breast and your lymph nodes. Is that right? And
yes.
was it anywhere else at that point?
No, it thankfully had not spread at that point. I think it was
Okay.
in 3 lymph nodes, and they ended up taking 13 lymph nodes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So they tested like 13, and 3 of them came back positive for
Yes.
breast cancer. And how many lumps did you have total in your breast that were malignant?
I don't even know. It was multiple. At that point, they were so not advanced because I mean, it wasn't stage 4, but like they didn't really do a lot of testing on the others. I didn't have any tumor markers done. They were just, let's start treatment um, and just kind of go from there. And when he did find the triple negative, though, my oncologist, he had me go get a second opinion because he was concerned that maybe we didn't do the right path. Maybe he could have done something different. Um, but she confirmed that no, that's the path that she would have taken
Oh,
too.
that's
So,
good. Do you recall what treatment you had as far as your chemotherapy?
uh, I had the Red Devil,
Uh huh.
which I was like, "Oh, that's not a very nice term. I can't imagine. I'm
Right.
not doing that." So I renamed it Hey Kool-Aid. So
so
I
you
said I was
so you
going for my Kool-Aid
yeah,
treatment.
you drank the Kool Aid. Be careful with that
I
one
did.
too.
Yes. And I read a lot about, uh, like I named my tumor. She was Bertha.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's awesome.
and people got me gifts that was like, bye, Bertha.
Bye, Bertha. Later, Bertha.
Yeah. So I wanted something tangible that I could like cuss and yell at. And then when I found out the triple negative, I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, Bertha's got a sister. So that was Gertrude.
Gertrude, of
Um,
course. Good
sorry for any
names.
Bertha Gertrudes out there, but yes,
Those are the
they
names
were,
you chose.
yes, they were evicted. So
So let's see. So in the order of which things happened. So you had a mammogram. You went back for that diagnostic mammogram after you found something else. They did your double mastectomy, and at that point, um, you had your left breast removed. I think you said, and then
yes,
later had your right breast removed at a separate surgery. Is that right?
I think like a month later,
So crazy. And
it was
then
so
yeah, and then in was it the reason for the second mastectomy was that because of the triple negative, or was that when they found the triple negative?
No, they found the triple negative when I had the mastectomy on the left. When they sent that tissue off, they found it. And then my team met later and decided that my previous My mammogram did show something on the right side, but it was never biopsied. And they thought maybe it was a hormonal thing. Maybe it wasn't anything. They just weren't sure. And my surgeon wanted to keep the right one because he said it would be easier for radiation and reconstruction surgery and just moving forward. He said it would just be a better recovery. So he wanted to wait. And then when they had the meeting, the whole team, everybody else said, no, you should probably go ahead and take the right one as well. I wish they would have had that meeting prior to the removing the left.
Right. It would have been so much easier just to have the one surgery and one and done kind of thing.
Yeah. I've had at least 2 surgeries every year since then.
Oh my gosh. And what year was this again that you were diagnosed? I know we said you were 46 when you were diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. And I presume it was the same year that you were diagnosed with your previous cancer as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was in 21.
21. Okay. So that's still not that long ago. And so after you had the double mastectomy, you had the left removed, then the right removed later. They found the triple negative breast cancer. Then you did. At what point was the chemo in there? Was that after?
Chemo was first.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I did the chemo first, which was the Hey Kool-Aid, and the one that starts with a T.
Taxol.
Taxol. I had that one. Mm-hmm. That was a real fun ride. I had hair grow back on my legs during chemo, and I was
that's not cool.
Mad.
You know, yeah. Like one of the best benefits about chemo is that you don't have to shave.
Right. I was so mad. I yelled at my doctor every single week that I saw him. And I know we don't have a ton of time, but a super funny story. I was giving a speech for our local cancer support community, and I was telling that story. And I said, if anybody here knows him, please, please, please yell at him for me about the hair on my legs, because it's just not right. It's so
You're right. I always tell people, I'm like, if there was a way to like bottle that aspect of it up, that would be really cool. Just that part, you know?
Yes. Well, I didn't know his wife was in the audience. And she did. She went home and yelled at him.
She's like, hey, listen, that's so funny. How funny.
It was a riot. So my next appointment, he said, really? You sicked my wife on me?
How funny.
Yeah.
So when we were talking and you said that when you learned that you had triple negative breast cancer, you had already been reading about it. So what was your reaction at that moment when you learned that you had triple negative breast cancer?
I was devastated. I still remember sitting on the couch. I know what I was wearing. I know where my dog was. My sister-in-law was here with me because it was the day after my surgery. And when she called me, and she just, I mean, they're medical people. I get it. She just, told me that the chemo had eradicated the original cancers, but that one tissue, she said it did come back as triple negative. And I said, oh my God, triple negative? And she said, yes. And I said, isn't that like the worst thing ever? And she said, well, it's not good.
Yeah.
And I was stunned. I remember just sitting on the couch. I don't remember anything after that about our conversation with her. I do remember she quit her job soon after that. And I just remember thinking, how awful of a job would that be to have to call people and tell people that? But
yeah.
I was devastated, just devastated.
It's so since you had the chemo first and then you had the double mastectomy, once they determined all that, what was the next thing that had to happen?
It was already planned. I was doing radiation.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
I think I had 28 sessions of radiation.
Man, they threw it all at you.
So we're talking. I had 2 years of treatment actually.
Oh my gosh, Stacey.
So that's crazy. I did the radiation, and then because of the triple negative, I qualified potentially for a trial, a triple negative study that they were doing at Simon Cancer Center. Mm-hmm. And there's certain things I think in our history that really resonate with you. And one of those was I had to do a ctDNA test. I assume you know what that is?
You said a CT, some kind of a DNA? Okay.
A ctDNA test. It's a circulating tumor DNA test that they can do. It tells you if you have circulating tumors in your bloodstream.
I have actually never heard of that. I know that I've done the genetic testing, but in all the interviews I've done, I have not heard about that. So tell us all about it.
Oh my God, this test is controversial. Doctors don't want to do it because the mental load on you. You get this test, and of course, there's false positive, false negatives that can, mess with your mental psyche. But I told the doctor when she first mentioned it to me and explained to me this test could come back positive, and what that means is you have circulating tumors in your bloodstream that could land somewhere in your body, but it may not land. So it's a bit of a gamble. And she said they had determined that it really didn't affect outcomes with people, that once people found it, it was not really relevant to their treatment, not really relevant to their outcome. To which I said, "Oh, how can that not be helpful to know that I need to be watching more for symptoms?"
It's interesting because everything that you're describing is kind of what they loosely talk about. It's like when you have your treatment, the point of the treatment is to be systemic, so you're getting the chemo through your whole body. It's not targeted. It's through your whole body to kind of almost like try to wash any cancer anywhere out of your system or kill any cancer that could be in your system. I was just looking it up. It says the term, and again, I will note what we said at the top of the broadcast. This should not be considered any kind of medical information or opinions or anything like that. Always talk to your healthcare provider. But the great Google says the term circulating tumors usually refers to circulating tumor cells. These are seeds of cancer, individual cells that break away from a primary tumor and hitch a ride through your bloodstream or lymphatic system to other parts of the body. And that's always a risk anytime you have any kind of cancer, is that recurrence that we all don't want to have. And that's because of these, I guess you would say, circulating tumors that they're calling them. Crazy.
Right.
Yeah. I'd never heard of
no
that
idea
phrase.
that this test was a thing. I had
Right,
no
me
clue.
either.
So I found out about this study, and they said, we'll do the test, and if it's positive, you qualify, which obviously means then you have circulating tumors in your bloodstream. So I finished my treatment. I did the chemo, I did the surgery, I did the radiation, and then I immediately did the ctDNA test. And that's another one of those moments that will forever stick with me. I was in my administrator's office, and I got the call from the nurse at the Simon Cancer Center, and she was so excited that I qualified for the trial.
But you're not excited because that means that you have the circulating tumors, right?
Yes. And I remember sitting in the chair. It was a blue chair. I remember sitting in that chair, and tears just started streaming down my face.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I guess that's not good news." No, it's not. I'm like, I just did all this treatment. I had 33 side effects. I mean, are you kidding me right now? I'm already 3 surgeries in. I was devastated once again, but it qualified me for the study, which was a trial drug that lowers your chance of recurrence with triple negative. So I was all in.
Oh, heck yeah. That's awesome. No, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was really excited about it. I believe at that point they were in their second part of the trial, which meant I had to go to Indy, which was an hour away. I was totally fine with it. So I did that. It was a trial drug and then oral chemo for roughly 6 months. In the meantime, I had some complications, which we won't even delve into that. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to have you on another broadcast sometime to really get into that, because I do want to hear about it, though.
Yeah, it was a really interesting study. I'm very glad I did it. So you do the trial drug, you do the oral chemo for so long, and then the study had went on, and then it got approved for 6 months of immunotherapy to be part of that trial. They felt like that boost also helped eradicating the triple negative, the cells.
Yeah.
Floating in your body. So, and then at the end of the study, they do the test again, but they don't give you the results.
You're like, thanks.
Yes. So while I was
Oh,
sitting in the office of
uh-huh.
that doctor, and she was explaining to me why they weren't going to tell me the results, and it was just a huge mental load on people, and it just caused a lot of stress. And I said,
Like
I
anxiety.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But for me, it is a tool that I need in my tool belt. Like I have to know the
Yeah.
answer to this question.
Uh-huh.
And I remember her talking, and I had my phone over to the side, and I texted my nurse navigator in my hometown, and I said, "Hey, will my doctor order this?" And she was like, "Yep, he's ordering it right now." So I got the test every 3 months after that for, uh, well, up until this last year. And now I get it every 6 months. So
Wow. And so what are the results each time when you have
so
this
far they're
done?
negative.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So,
so cool.
and it is a little stressful that week, but it,
Yeah.
time has went on. I'm a little more okay with it. I'm past that 2 year. Not that I trust that, but but yeah, I get that test, and I tell people about it, but I'm also very cautious. Like you mentioned your disclaimer at the beginning.
Sure.
It,
Yeah.
it is a huge anxiety
Yeah.
um, issue for some people, that some people just don't need to have that. So I do understand why they don't always do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And
for me, it's something that I need.
yeah, and it's like, I did the genetic testing, and some people get anxiety from that as well because some people whether or not know, just wait and see kind of thing.
Right.
And but genetic testing was really important to me. Did you have genetic testing?
I did, and I don't have any of the genes.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. We're
No,
lucky.
I
Stace,
very lucky.
I heard you mention like locations a minute ago. Tell everybody where you're located. Like what?
So I'm in Bloomington, Indiana. So all of my treatment was here locally. And then the trial was actually done in Indy, which is an hour north of us at the Simon Cancer Center.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha. Well, I'm so glad that you're doing well today. And you mentioned a second ago that you've had multiple surgeries, so we know about two of them. What other surgeries have you done? Reconstruction?
I've done reconstruction. I ended up from my surgeries, my mastectomies, I kept saying my breasts were regenerating. They kept filling up with fluid. So I had to
What
have
a
my
terrible
drain.
problem!
I know.
My breasts keep regenerating. I did not have
Yes.
this problem myself.
Except it was fluid. So they had
Uh-huh.
to go back in and surgically place tubes.
Oh gosh. So like
And then they would get
drains.
infected, and there was a lot of issues with
Oh
that. I ended up doing all of radiation with tubes and drain tubes
wow. Oh my
in.
gosh.
So
You
yeah,
must
those
have
were
felt
terrible.
like one of those push pin things, like.
I really did. Yes.
Oh,
And it was ironic too that I ended up educating them when they put one of the drain tubes back in. They didn't know how to get the fluid out of the bulb, that the fluid goes into.
right, right. That you
And I
pump.
had so much fluid buildup when they surgically put it in, it automatically inflated that bulb,
Oh
and
my
then it didn't
god.
have anywhere to go. And I was like, "You have to empty it." And they're
Like,
like, "We don't know how."
like, let me learn you this.
Yes. So I thought that was really funny. But so I've had those surgeries, of course, the port surgery. And then I had, radiation caused a giant wound. And one of the side effects of that trial drug was elevated sugar, which I did not have a sugar problem, but it caused the wound not to heal. So that ended up in a hot mess. I went into a hyperbaric chamber. Do you know what those are?
Yes,
Yes.
Stace, we have to get you in touch. Lori Peters, she was a drummer from Skillet. She's on our board of directors, and she had that same thing happen. I don't know. I don't recall what caused the wound. I think it was her mastectomy. She had a single mastectomy. And then she had to go in the hyperbolic chamber for hers, and she told me how stressful that was. It sounds just awful, but tell everybody about it for those who don't know.
So the hyperbaric chamber was created for scuba divers to get them safely, or it emulates that. So you're in a giant chamber with a really thick door, and all you are is on a gurney, and you have a gown. And again, my journey has been insane. So the first time they put me in it, and you can watch a little TV that's outside the room, but you can hear in the little chamber hole that you're in. It's all clear except
That's
the
so
bottom.
creepy. Yeah.
It's so wild. And there's one nurse in there with you. It's a gigantic room. You can't have anything. A nose ring, you have to take it out. Earrings, you have to take it out. They told me you can't get tattoos. You can't do anything going into this chamber. And I was really excited to do this because I was reading about it. Like it promotes all this like cell regeneration, just helps you sleep. Like it's just this miracle thing. So I was so excited to do it. And my first session, I went in, and for some reason, it doesn't happen very often, but I overheated and ended up puking everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Everywhere.
No way.
And
oh
here's the
no.
fun part, they can't get you out for 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, so they're like, sorry, sit in your puke for a little bit.
Right.
Be comfortable
And they
in
were
the
horrified. So I puked all in my pillowcase because I had nothing with me. And then they ended up shutting the door because I had to take my gown and like bunch it up.
Oh
And
God.
it was awful. So we prepared for the next day. You do this every day for however many weeks. And this was supposed to heal my wound quicker. And the next day we were prepared. They had the temperature down. The nurse that was in there with me had his winter coat on. They had frozen washcloths and baggies in there. They had 2 pillowcases for me.
Were they your little vomit bags?
Yes.
your pillowcases?
Yes, they were.
Like, come on, give me like a real, like, you know, that they have like in the ER, like that's plastic
Something,
and it's like kind of
right?
fits on your mouth a little better than a
Yeah.
pillowcase.
So, and
Girl.
while you're in this, you're like I mentioned, you're on that gurney, but
Uh-huh.
you're seated up. You're
Uh-huh.
not laying flat. You're up, but you can't go anywhere because you're in that tube. That one went pretty well. I can't remember how long I was supposed to do them, but I remember it was towards the end, and my hearing went out. Like I was watching 101 Dalmatians, the cartoon.
Good choice.
And it started like whirring. I couldn't hear the movie. I could just hear whirring. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked over, and Todd, he has a phone that he could pick up to talk to me because you can't hear.
Yeah.
So they have
Right.
to visually watch you.
Uh-huh.
And he said, are you okay? And I was like, I can't hear. And he did something. He turned down some dials. He did something. And I remember it slowly went away and the movie came back. And I was like, oh, thank God.
That had to be so trippy, man.
It was so scary. And then I looked at him and I said, Todd, I don't feel right. I need to come out of this. And that's the last thing I remember. I ended up in a full-blown seizure for almost 2 minutes. I remember waking up, and again, this was still like, you know, masks. I remember waking up on a gurney. They had finally gotten me out. And he was in my face screaming,
oh my gosh.
do you know who I am? Do you know where you are?
Uh-huh.
And I said, you're Todd. And yeah, I had a seizure and they had to rush me to the hospital in an ambulance.
Oh my gosh. We
So
need like
hyperbaric chamber.
yeah, we need like a 2-hour show just for you and your stories. We're gonna have to have you on to the Beat broadcast sometime, another time this year to talk more about this, because we didn't get to a lot of, you said something like you had 33 different side effects and all this stuff going on, and I know we want to get to that at some point, so we'll have to have you come back on. Real quick though, Stacey, a couple people did comment while you were talking that I wanted to bring up. So I believe we pronounced her name, Charisse, says, I feel you and understand this journey. I'm a triple negative and got metastatic disease 13 months after my original diagnosis. I live every day with what's going to happen next. Where's it going to pop up? But you're so positive and I love it. Attitude has a lot to do with our process or journey. So that's so true, Charisse. That's awesome. Thanks for that comment there. Man, like I said, Stacey, we're gonna have to plan another time to hook up to get back to all this, because that's a lot going on. I'm so glad that you're here today. And how often are you getting checked out by your doctor at this point?
I graduated to every 6 months, and my my oncologist was actually, he died last year, so I was transferred to a new doctor. And I had seen him in April, and then I saw her for the first time this past fall, and she's been really great, but it's every 6 months now. So
That's good.
That was also a little traumatic. I remember he said, "Hey, we've hit the 5-year mark. We can go every 6 months." And I almost had a panic attack and said, "Are you breaking up with me?" And he said, "No, that we could go every 3 months or every 6 months." But,
That's so awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
It's every 6 months. I'm hoping my last surgery in November. So most of the recent surgeries have been reconstruction. I had a lot of issues again with the wound. One of my surgeries was a skin graft to help heal that wound. Lymphedema, I have that. That's been a struggle. But I've had
I
some
saw
surgeries
you have a compression sleeve on, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. I'm going to have to hook you up with Lori because you're the first person that I've ever interviewed that also had the hyperbaric treatment, that chamber. I'm sure would love to be able to chat with somebody about that. So I'll have to get you guys in touch with one another, and then also have some friends who have lymphedema and things like that. So we'll have to chat more through Facebook.
Yes,
so please reach out and let's do this again sometime. And thanks so much for joining and putting up with the initial little bit of audio technical difficulties there at the top of the hour. And be sure to share this out, let your friends know it'll be here. We're going to actually pop this up on YouTube next week too, so your interview will be out there as well. And thanks again for being here, Stacey. I wish we had more time.
I know. Thank you. I know it's been a crazy couple years. So
yeah, totally.
I really appreciate you having me, and hopefully it helps someone.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
I know it will. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and you have a great night.
Thanks. You too.
See ya.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody, man. That was Stacey. So cool to have her here today.